The U.S. Probation and Pretrial Services Office provides resources and support from pretrial release to incarceration and upon reentry to the community. Navigating the judicial process can be stressful for defendants who may be dealing with a variety of emotions as they think about being apart from family and friends while preparing for sentencing and incarceration.
I think what's important to me is that everyone in this world has made mistakes. Some are bigger than others. And so I can't do what I do without believing that people can be rehabilitated and that there is an opportunity for forgiveness and to go forward and repair harm.
When coming to court for a change of plea hearing, we encourage the defendants to mentally prepare themselves to be taken into custody that day, because that is a possibility. And so some things for them to consider would be having somebody drive them to court, so they're not here stuck with a car. We sometimes caution them about bringing their children to court, because it can be a pretty traumatic event and maybe make it a little harder on the family than it would need to be necessarily.
After the defendant is found guilty or pleads guilty to a federal offense, the judge is going to refer the defendant to our office for the preparation of a pre-sentence report. That report is going to be the defendant's opportunity to tell the judge any important things about the defendant's life. Pre-sentence report itself is going to be confidential. It's going to be filed under seal, so you don't need to worry about this information getting out to the general public. It's really your opportunity to give the judge a little bit more insight about your life. One of the things we're going to ask the defendant during the pre-sentence interview is to provide a collateral contact. The pre-sentence officer will call one of your family members or friends to try to verify the background information that they discussed during the interview. So please think carefully about who might be the best person to do that job, who would better provide insight into your life to the judge. The pre-sentence officer will also likely do a home inspection of the defendant's residence, either where they're living now while on bail, or if they're incarcerated, where they plan to live in the future, or where they were living when they committed the offense. That information will help the officer determine whether you have a suitable housing arrangement for when you're released, what type of family support the defendant might have, as well as whether any financial penalties should be imposed.
One of the rules that I look at for imposing a sentence is what is just punishment for the harm that that individual has created in our community. What will it take to deter that person from committing future harm and to deter others from following that same road? But I also look at what rehabilitation could be available as a result of the sentence.
For somebody who's never been in this kind of situation, there are several considerations that we encourage them to think about. Their children, if they have children, who's going to take care of their kids? Is it going to be extended family members who will assist them? Will they need to do a power of attorney so that others can make decisions on their behalf? Their home, who's going to pay their rent or their mortgage? What arrangements need to be made for that? Do they need to consider downsizing to a smaller home, a less expensive home prior to incarceration? For their job, should they give their employer notice that they're not going to be there? Does the employer even know what's going on? So it's something to consider. Things even with their pets. Who's going to take care of their pets? For their financial situation, what bills do they have? What credit card payments do they need to make? Do they want to call the creditors to see if they're willing to give a forbearance for a period of time while they're gone? One issue that comes up pretty regularly is their medical condition. What medical needs do they have that they need to attend to? They will get care in the Bureau of Prisons, but not to the extent that they'll get from their primary doctor. So we encourage them to make that appointment with their doctor to get a checkup, to get medications updated, to address any of those medical needs that they may have. Eyeglasses. Do they have an updated pair of glasses that they can take with them? Or is there dental procedures that they need to attend to? A couple other things would be Do they have any outstanding warrants that they need to take care of? Or is there any other state court matters or things like that that they want to address or should address before they go into federal custody, because that could impact them, their programming in the BOP. When defendants are doing their research and developing their requests for a particular facility, some things we encourage them to consider would be, is there a facility that's going to make it easier for family to visit? Are there particular programs in that facility, educational programs or employment programs that would benefit them while they're there? So there are some, we want their time in the BOP to be productive, and that will to benefit them, so when they come out, maybe they've learned some new skills and maybe they have a new trade that they can utilize when they're back out in the community.
For the families and loved ones, I would say it's really important to maintain a relationship. I think both the individual and the loved ones need to look at 4 areas and how they can support that individual. So I encourage the individual to think about his or her health, work skills, family relationships, maintaining them, right? And mental health.
More questions are ultimately going to come up from the defendants, and that's normal, and we really encourage them to reach out to their officer to come in and have a sit down and go through whatever additional questions they may have.
The Bureau of Prisons designates or determines where a defendant will serve his or her term of incarceration. Information about federal facilities can be found on their website. The Inmate Care and Custody section is where to find information for recently sentenced individuals, treatment, and religious programs. Defendants learn at sentencing if they will be able to surrender to their designated facility. Certain items may be permitted at time of surrender, such as documentation of medical concerns, eyeglasses, valid identification, cash, religious items, or a plain wedding band. We do recommend defendants contact their designated facility directly to confirm any permitted items.
As soul-crushing as it is to start a period of incarceration, I would say there's an opportunity there. And the opportunity is for the individual to sit down and use that time wisely and to do what we call good time, which is use that time to think about what kind of changes they need to make in their life when they return to our community, and to take advantage of every opportunity for education and vocational training so they come back with skills. Perhaps it's a GED or college courses, whatever it is. And to stay out of trouble while you're in prison, because that's going to have a huge impact, not only on your sentence, but also how well you're going to be able to re-enter our community.